Today we're going to read the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 19, verse 7. Iti vyavachidya sapandaveya. Oh, it's not there yet. Okay, let me read. Iti vyavachidya sapandaveya prayopavesham prati vishnupadyam dhado mukundangrim anayanya bhavo munivrato mukha samasta sangha. Yes, someone, maybe you can read. Iti vyavachidya sapandaveya
prayopavesham prati vishnupadyam dhado mukundangrim ananya bhavo
Munivrato mukutta samasta sangha. Mataji? Iti vyavachidya sapandaveya prayopadesham prati vishnupadyam dhado mukundagrim manyabhavo Munivrato mukta samasta sangha. Thank you. Translation. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. No. This was so loud. I was scared too. Thus the king, the worthy descendant of the Pandavas, decided once and for all and sat on the Ganges bank to fast until death and give himself up to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, who alone is able to award liberation. So, freeing himself from all kinds of associations and attachments, he accepted the vows of a sage. I don't want to rush it, I just want to carry on with yesterday's session, so I'm just going to read the purport. The water of the Ganges sanctifies all the three worlds, including the gods and the demigods, because it emanates from the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, Vishnu. Lord Krishna is the fountainhead of the principle of Vishnu Tattva, and therefore shelter of his lotus feet can deliver one from all sin, including an offense committed by the king unto the Brahmana. Maharaj Parikshit therefore decided to meditate upon the lotus feet of Lord Shri Krishna, who is Mukunda, or the giver of liberation of all description. The banks of the Ganges, or the Jamuna, give one a chance to remember the Lord continuously. Maharaj Parikshit freed himself from all sorts of material association and meditated upon the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, and that is the way of liberation. To be free from all material association means to cease completely from committing any further sin. To meditate upon the lotus feet of the Lord means to become free from the effects of all previous sins. The conditions of the material world are so made that one has to commit sin willingly or unwillingly, and the best example is Maharaj Parikshit himself, who was a recognized sinless pious king, but he also became a victim of an offense, even though he was never unwilling to commit such a mistake. He was cursed also, but because he was a great devotee of the Lord, even such reverses of life became favorable. The principle is that one should not willingly commit any sin in his life and should constantly remember the lotus feet of the Lord without deviation. Only in such a mood will the Lord help the devotee make regular progress toward the path of liberation and thus attain the lotus feet of the Lord. Even if there are accidental sins committed by the devotee, the Lord saves the stranded soul from all sin, surrendered soul from all sin, as confirmed in all scriptures. Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnana-anjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Mukham Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langaiti Girim Yat Kripatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatarinam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Great. I wasn't aware yesterday that this topic will touch a nerve for so many devotees. After the class, many of you approached me asking relevant questions. What I was really intending here is to give an overview of the process of our surrender in a practical way. Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, that's what we are focusing. And although this in itself is a very complex topic, due to the lack of our time, we can't really go deep into the psychological aspects, which some of you also wanted to know about. So, yeah, we would just go through the principles, and then if you have further questions related to your personal experience or something which comes up personally, then we can talk about it later. Does that make sense? So yesterday we talked about studying, okay? And the one question arose yesterday: how do I realize what I study? And there is this verse in the Srimad Bhagavatam which really answers this question. It's Srimad Bhagavatam 2:9-31. This is a conversation between Brahma and Krishna, Vishnu. So, Sri Bhagavan Uvacha, Jnanam Parama Guhyam Me Yad Vijnana Samam Vitam. So here we immediately hear these two words, Jnana and Vijnana, knowledge and realization. Sarahasyam Tadangam Cha Grihana Gaditam Maya. The personality of God hath said, knowledge about me, as described in the scriptures, is very confidential, and it has to be realized in conjunction with the devotional service. So this is the answer to that question. How does jnana transfer to vijnana? Devotional service. We have to perform an activity to solidify the knowledge, the devotional, the transcendental knowledge. The necessary paraphernalia for that process is being explained by me. You may take it up carefully. So that's what Krishna answered. So this is just a little supplement to yesterday's covering of the study principle. Then we started talking about the authority. Very important topic in itself. Again, we didn't really intended to go into a psychological aspect of it, just the practical aspect that it's very important. The verse I quoted yesterday was the verse from Bhagavad Gita 16:23. He who discards spiritual injunctions and acts according to his own whims attains neither perfection nor happiness nor the supreme destination. So this verse really just explains why do we have to follow the authority. If we don't, then what else we have? Just our whims, our mental speculation. At any given time, anyone in this material existence is following an authority of some sort. There is no such thing as not following an authority, even if you say that, oh, but he is not following the authority. He is. Seemingly, or not so obviously, or obviously, everyone is under an influence of a higher principle of some sort, everyone. So in our instance, it is very straightforward. We have a hierarchy, we have the gurus, the shiksha gurus, the authorities, the temple leaders, the department leaders, etc. If you look outside the world, you will see that everyone stops at the red light, there is an authority. Everyone is, when people cook, they don't poke the hot water. You know, they understand the principle of that. So there is always some sort of, following something or someone who tells this is good, this is not good, you should do it, you shouldn't do it. The trick of this existence is that material energy, Maya, makes you think that you are independent, that you act independently. You never act independently. And even if you at one point in your life say that, okay, I'm completely given up everything, I'm doing this and that and the other, the gunas will then dictate how you do this, that and the other. So they are the authority. So once you understand this, then you won't fight it. There is no need for you to argue against it. In our instance, it's important that we know that there is a structure, and then that structure is represented through this hierarchy I just mentioned, and we talked about yesterday a little bit. What I didn't cover yesterday, and we didn't reach to that point, many questions arose, like what if there is a conflicting instruction from two authorities, or what if an authority is instructing but we can clearly identify a motivation in that instruction, what this, what that. So these are all very minute details, these are specifics which you can discuss with your trusted senior mentors, but the principle stays. So whoever occupies a position is in the position of authority, regardless of his personality. If you just accept that, and I already made this example in one of my previous classes. If Bhakta Ferry gives me an instruction that today I should cook khitri and tea and porridge, doesn't matter that I can cook, Prabhupada sabji and puri and rice with coconut in it, and it doesn't matter. So he said something, I should do it. Or if he says, can you receive the boga today? The boga is arriving today. Can you go out and receive and give them the money? Well, look at me. I'm such an old man. Well, really, but let's say I'm a frail old man. Why do you ask me to do it? No, he said, I do it. Simple, very simple. And if I struggle with this instruction physically, maybe, or even mentally, I have to do it because he told me. He is my authority. Simple as that. And then tomorrow he will be promoted to another position. He will be maybe commander of our temple. Then every one of you will have to listen to what he says. Not just me, everyone. And then the next occasion he will be demoted not demoted, but he will resign as a commander, and he will be a simple Vaishnava, chanting every morning happily because there is no stress on his head. And then we will then have another person who will tell us what to do. So I'm trying to actually point out what matters for us in our situation in the Vaidhi sadhana bhakti. That's okay? Now, there is another aspect. Accepting and respecting the authority goes both ways. The authority also has to respect the devotees, the so-called subordinates, and that is another huge topic we can talk about. So if you see that you are not getting that, how an authority, in what mood it should be done, in what attitude it should be conducted. That is something you can also discuss either with that person or with your trusted mentors. And then the third point, which I made here, is that so you are the authority, I will follow you. But what if I am the authority? How do I conduct myself? How do I instruct you? So us as authority. So we are to start with authorities for the outer world. We are the authorities for our congregation. We are the authorities for people on the street we meet every day on the Sankirtan. We are the authorities for, let's say, Balaram Prabhu is now the supervisor of the ashram for 1 month. He is the authority. So how will he conduct himself as an authority? What is his understanding of what is his role? What are his duties? What are his obligations, etc. So that is another huge topic. This makes sense so far? So without too much poking into these details, the psychology of it, and the house, the physical ways of being an authority and the mentality of an authority, I would just like to progress through our list of options here, not options, but list of principles we have to adhere to. Studying the scriptures, respect of the authorities. And now we reach the cleanliness. Cleanliness is again very important for our life now that we have surrendered, like Maharaj Parikshit. Cleanliness appears in 2 aspects, external and internal. So that's the point. External is, well, we could say obvious, but not always. External is we have a microphone here. Any suggestion for what external cleanliness would mean in our instance, in this environment? Anyone?
Hare Krishna, Krishna Prabhu. So, as minimum, take a shower in the morning, shower after going to the toilet, and all wearing clean clothes, like without any dots, holes, this clean environment.
So you mentioned shower, so personal hygiene, then cleanliness of our attire, washing clothes. Anything else? Anyone else? Tom?
Would free from illicit sex life be considered?
We are now first talking about external. That would be a different. It is part, but it's a principle rather than. So environment, cleanliness of our environment. Most importantly, our living quarters, and then the kitchen area where we cook. Clearly, the pujari department, the altar, our service equipment, whatever we utilize in our service, we have to always maintain. We have to clean our trolleys, take the rubbish out, always have it nice. The equipment we utilize during streaming or recording, everything needs to be always maintained. So that's cleanliness. That's the mode of goodness, literally. So how can we maintain this cleanliness? With having internal cleanliness, without being convinced of the importance of it, without being clean from within, the external won't manifest. So the focus here, so the external is called Bahya, external, and the internal is Antara, or Bhayantara as well. That's another expression. You probably heard about this verse. There are a few initiated devotees here. Apavitra pavitro va sarvastagatopi va yasmaret pundarikaksha sa Bhayantara shuchi Shri Vishnu. So whether one is pure or contaminated, and regardless of one's external situation, simple by remembering the lotus-eyed personality of Godhead, one can internally and externally cleanse one's existence. So that's the importance of this principle, that we as devotees here in the ashram, in the temple, and anyone, wherever you are, in whatever position and situation, this is not actually specifically for the devotees in the temple. This is for those who desire to surrender. So what happens here is that we chant Hare Krishna, we study, and then we focus on our internal cleansing. There are a few things here. And then, as Tom mentioned, following the four regulative principles very much helps our internal cleansing. You know, we get rid of the greed, the lust, the illusion, all these six enemies. We can practice truthfulness. That's another internal cleanliness. Humility, again, that's being very, clean. When you see someone who is surrendered to Krishna in his actions, in his speech, in his words, mind, and body, you will consider him clean. So cleanliness in our environment is twofold, external and internal. We start by cleaning inside, but all the way through, we also clean our externals. And the most important aspect of the cleanliness is the chanting of the Maha Mantra. I have been told that I never say the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra during the class, so let's do it now. So chanting the Hare Krishna mantra is very important. So Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. This aspect is again a huge topic, and I encourage you to develop a class or a seminar on this on your own terms and share it with devotees. How is the holy name, how does it contain the power of cleanliness? What does it do? Chaitodarpana Marjana, so many aspects of it we can talk about. Is this okay with cleanliness? Any questions on it? Any comments on it? Something is not clear, there is a microphone. Emil?
Yes, Prabhu, sometimes there's also a sequence of doing things in order to stay clean, in order to avoid baiting of the elephant. Can you elaborate on this about cleanliness? We may do cleanliness activity, but then right after we get dirty like the elephant who baits and put some sand.
What do you mean? Like you take a shower, you take a clean dress, and then you walk out and you hit your finger in the whatever that is, and you swear, and now you're all dirty, or what? What do you mean?
No, but how you can have a sequence in our you brush your teeth first, and then after you take a shower instead of the.
Again, this is important, but it's a detail. So I really want to focus in this class on the, going through the principles. Details we can discuss, of course. It will. So for you and for everyone, if you just do what senior Vaishnavas do, that would be good enough. Actually, that would be good to do, at least. In a short run, many devotees who move into the temple, I think maybe I didn't explain this. So our upbringing and our material mentality is very much rooted in the principles of karma. If I do I get. The more I do, the more I get. The better I do, the better I get. This is how the principles of karma operate. And then we came to this environment, the devotional life, and then we bring that mentality. If I wash my teeth like this, I'm a good devotee. If I dress like this, I get something, I'm a good devotee. If I do this, I am a good devotee. So it's important to dress nicely and to wash teeth nicely and to follow these regulative principles in appropriate order, but they are still secondary. They are not primary. The primary is that you chant the Hare Krishna, Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then that will gradually clear your mind from the gunas, from the lower gunas, and then you will start seeing what is appropriate in what order. You can ask, definitely. There is an order. I know many devotees, they wash teeth after the shower. Is it okay? Is it not okay? It is okay, and it is not okay. So when is it okay? When is it not okay? I know that there is one devotee who does that, and after he does one thing, he goes out and distributes books. He's doing that now 33 years. Does it matter when does he washes his teeth? I'm asking you. Does it matter? Does it really matter? Will that influence his consciousness that he will go out and try to do his best distributing Srila Prabhupada's books? No. If someone is going to like a puja clean environment, like a pujari's altar, kitchen, then I would suggest probably do it in the proper order. But this you will see due course of your devotional life. Where can you put your priorities? This makes sense? Okay, so let's carry on, otherwise we will run out of time. Oh, this is a big one. So we had studied respect of authorities, cleanliness, and we arrived at the service attitude. This is a big one. Service attitude. We moved in here, into this environment, and the only thing we hear all the time, apart from Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Only thing we hear is that, oh Prabhu, can you do this please? Can you do this service? Oh Mataji, can you clean this over here? Oh Mataji, can you distribute prasadam? You know. So service attitude. There is a reason for this, actually. Why is it like that? It's a very interesting. I'm just going to throw it out for you to meditate on it. The service mentality, or to be a servant, das or a dasi, is an identity. As a matter of fact, it is our identity. That's what we are. And I wrote this, such a nice. Service is a natural expression. Service is a natural expression and manifestation of our identity. So if we meditate on this, we are servants. So how do we express that? Through service. Very simple. So if you have an issue with this, I strongly suggest to consult your trusted mentors and try to overcome this issue in your head, because Krishna consciousness is about serving. Not just Krishna consciousness, everywhere in the world, whoever we observe, you will see is doing some kind of service. We can go through details, we can go through examples, but the principle is that as jivas, as spirit souls, we are inherently servants. We are das and dasi. That means we will be always required to do some service in this temple. We will always be required to offer it, not be asked to do it, offer it voluntarily. So we are volunteers in this environment. We are not forced to do it. Although sometimes it feels like, sometimes it feels that we are, if we don't, there is a pressure, kind of like psychological pressure, that if you don't do it then, therefore it's better for you as an individual if you just put it in your head that I should just offer the service instead of being asked. And as a matter of fact, this was a very good training for me. If you don't mind using my example, when I started serving Goswami Maharaj, there was like a pattern. He wants this, that, here, now, then. And when I started seeing the whole picture, then instead of he asking me, can you do this, can you do that, can you do this, can you do that, I started voluntarily doing those things in advance, so that he doesn't have to ask for it. And then we reached that point in our relationship that he only asks what is outside of the scope. When something comes up, he then asks. Otherwise, everything is nicely flowing because of this willingness to do. This is important for us here in the temple because this temple depends on you as volunteers, as individuals. So your service is not just a nuisance, it's not just something you have to do or something. Your service is an integral part of the functioning of this environment. You understand? Okay. So, two types of services. One is called karmapana, which is in Bhagavad Gita it is called sakam, bhakti yoga, sakam. Who knows what that expression means? Vishal, Mataji. Sakam karmapana means that we conduct our duties, we perform our activities, and then the result we get from those, we then offer it to Krishna. That's the first type of service we offer here. This would mean most or mainly those devotees who live outside. We would say they are kind of in this mentality because they work, they have family, they have this their own arrangements. They do something, and whatever comes, they offer that to Krishna. So that's that. Many of us here in the temple also still lives with that mentality. It's not a bad mentality, but there is another one, a little bit better one, which is called a Nishkam Bhakti Yoga, or in this instance it's Kankarya, which means that I perform my activity, I do my devotional service with the mentality that the result which comes is already Krishna's, it's not mine. So I have this spirit of detachment from these activities. So it is easier to maintain this in this environment than outside, if that makes sense. Because outside you pretty much depend on those results. Those results maintain you. You identify yourself in the society by those results. Here you are just a dasi, whatever you do is not yours. So you automatically relinquish, you give up the attachment to the result. So you go out, you do books, you sell 10 books, you get the Lakshmi, you come home and you just give the Lakshmi to the appropriate person. There is no attachment to the result. It's not like, this Lakshmi, but I have to give it to Krishna. No. So that's not. So for us it's easy, but sometimes you will see that there is this this mentality of sakam still present, like I give Levent a plate of Mahaprasadam and there is a sweet on it as well. So as I tell him, please carry this and distribute to the brahmacharis, he will go, walk, and just before he opens the door, he will take the sweet in his pocket and then go inside. So that's kind of a symptom of this. And then the only way to maintain and elevate our service attitude is chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So for us, service here, unlike in the traditional way, traditional cultures or in the ancient times, like service was represented by a disciple or the brahmachari in the Gurukula was sent out to collect wood for the fire, for the yagya. The brahmacharis were sent out to collect alms for the guru. They were cleaning the ashram, they were cooking, they were washing the clothes and perform menial services. So that was in the traditional way. In our today's day and age, in our example, we would do our service, whatever was given to us, and we will maintain our environment. That's also part of our service. That makes sense? Preaching, cooking, cleaning, menial service, sankirtan, pujari, study, bhakti, whatever your service is, that is your service. That's what you have to do in that appropriate spirit. Any questions on this aspect, service? Oh, microphone. Vrajamohini.
Thank you so much, Vaishnava Prabhu. I just wanted to ask, so sometimes there are things that devotees are already good at. For example, someone's very good at making flower garlands, and this type of activity would already be pleasure to them, even before, for example, meeting Krishna consciousness. They are just very attuned to such an activity, and maybe there is an activity they are not so much good with, maybe cooking. So I sometimes find it difficult when I'm doing such an activity that, say, I already liked, I'm in this feeling of flow, and I wonder, so am I doing it for myself or for Krishna? So how to understand, how can we do something that we already like, and so do it for Krishna, while maybe when we do something that we are not so attuned to naturally, it's more difficult for us to do it for Krishna. Okay, sorry, it was a real messy question.
Thank you. The servant is doing his service without the expectation of that he will either enjoy it or hate it. So the service is, although integral part of our being, the physical aspect, how it manifests, should be completely irrelevant. So that's the principle. So if in some instances when we get a service which we really relish or enjoy, still the results are not ours, they are Krishna's. It just happens to be that my conditioning matches that type of service. The way we can know that if we are giving it to Krishna or not is that if next day we are given a different service which our conditioning is not attuned to, and then we have this natural kind of building up of dislike and aversion, like, you know, why do I have to do this kind of, then we know that we still have to work on our mentality of being a servant. It's okay if you like it, as long as you don't just demand that you do this service only, just because you like it. Because in this environment, in the temple environment, we can't facilitate always that. We will try, we will see if you are more inclined to Brahminical activities, then we will try to accommodate a service maybe on the altar or something like that. But always there will be something that you will have to do which is outside of that scope. And if you do that as well without any negative, you know, connotation, then that's a good mentality. Does this answer the question?
Yes.
So we don't have to hate or love, we just have to do it.
Mm-hmm.
If we love it, that's good. If we hate it, then we work on it. Good? Levente?
Prabhu, you said, or you quoted that we can maintain an elevated service attitude by chanting Hare Krishna, and I was wondering, this situation where someone comes to us and says, Prabhu, can you do this? And there's some need for surrender. We feel like, oh, I really have to give up my false ego at this time and follow my authority. So this situation, this surrender, how much does it elevate us in terms of service attitude, or how much development, purification does it give when we, let's say, comparing it to chanting Hare Krishna? I don't know if it makes sense, but this type of surrender, how important it is.
The willingness to do it, the voluntarity, no, I don't think there is a word like that, but the willingness and that offering it is more natural to the original state of the jiva. If you are asked and that there is like this kind of block and you say, now I have to surrender, I have to surrender, that is naturally considered not, I wouldn't say lower, but in concept of this discussion, in terms of this discussion, there is let me just think how to phrase it. So we all have been children and we all had to study. And then when the parents said, okay, you go home and you go to your room, sit on the chair and do your homework. If we did it by force because we were told, the result wasn't as good, our mentality wasn't as good, our mood wasn't as good, we struggled. We did it, we read the book or we read the homework, but it was all like a little kind of, it wasn't a nice experience. But also there were examples when we said, okay, I have to do the homework first and then I can play. So I went in, focused, did it, and then I had a lot of time to play. So immediately there was a much better, atmosphere, my mood was better. So you don't have to surrender. That's the principle. But it helps if you have that attitude that I want to do it without needing to struggle too much about it. We are volunteers, no one is forcing you, but it's easier for you if you just develop this mentality that whatever comes, whoever asks, whatever the point, whatever the task is, yes, Prabhu, I'll do it. Yes. We talked about this earlier, last year. Goswami Maharaj was emphasizing this during his classes, that a brahmachari never says no, he always says yes. In this environment, maybe it seems a little bit enforced, all right, to use this word, but it is just for you to understand that if you don't develop this voluntary mentality, it will be enforced later. When you move out, for instance, you start up a family, or you start doing a business outside, or you do this or that, then it will be forced. So if you are, like, let's just take an example from an outside world. You can't just stay in the bed after 8 because the children will kill you. You can't just stay in the bed after 8 because the boss will, kick you out. You can't just stay in the bed after 8 because the wife will, tear your head off. So, but if you do these things voluntarily because you learned during this existence here, during the tenure, during your time here, then it will be much easier, because that's a natural attitude. That's why we know all what the Hare Krishna Mahamantra means. Dear Lord, dear energy, O Lord, please engage me in your service. So we're begging for this. So if there is an instance, let's say, okay, you are now in the class and someone calls, Utsava, who is your authority, can you clean the doorway of the snow? You will just jump up and go out. And then if your mind is giving you a trouble, then you have to control it with knowledge, with intelligence, It's not a kind of a must that you will be happy about it. Of course, there will be kind of various issues in your head, but there is always a principle how to work it, how to conquer it, how to do it. And the more you just say yes, 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 the better for you. And we haven't finished it again. Oh my. There was this interesting example. If I share this as a conclusion for this service attitude, it's again experience, my experience. There was this festival in Krishna Valley, and there were like hundreds and hundreds of devotees, and many of them I don't know, and that's how it is. And there was this devotee who was, I never saw him, and he said, where is the Wi-Fi here? And I was streaming, I was doing the streaming, so I was just running from the balcony down to fix the camera between the break, so I had like 30 seconds to do it. And he stopped me, what is the Wi-Fi here? And I took the phone out, he had an iPhone, so we shared the Wi-Fi, and it was very quick, and he was very happy. And then I went on my job service. And later during the day, as I was coming and going, I saw him, that devotee, unfortunately I don't know his name, I saw him hugging Govinda Maharaj, my spiritual master. He was like, oh, and I was like, ooh, who is this guy, Ooh, I better know him. And then as I was passing, this devotee noticed me, and he was saying something to Govinda Maharaj. And in my understanding, he was saying that he helped me, the Wi-Fi is this guy, I don't know who is he, but he helped me the Wi-Fi. And then Govinda Maharaj immediately put together the whole situation, and then he said, always be a Vaishnav, always serve the Vaishnavas. Whatever they ask, you always do. So that was a personal instruction for me, and you can also try to implement this into your life, because you will just benefit from it. So whoever asks and whatever is asked from you, you just say yes. How will you do it? It's a detail. But you always say, you never say no. Your position in this environment will just rocket up. You will be very much liked, you will be appreciated, your spiritual life will start blossoming, your mentality will open, you will be very positive. The holy name will come closer to you if you have that mentality. This is okay? Okay. No more time. Okay, because the cook was late a little bit today, so I'll just squeeze in this last one very quickly. This one is the last one, so just to recap, we had study, yes, respect of the authority, cleanliness, we talked about, service attitude, and the last one is sense control. So this environment here, we are here in, now that we surrendered, now that Parikshit Maharaj surrendered, what is he going to do? He sat on the Ganges, bank of the Ganges, he opened his little picnic box, right? He put out all the sandwiches, all the drinks, the fruit, yes? Is that what happened? No. So we moved in here in anticipation of surrender, and the prerequisite to surrender is control of the senses. So that's a very important aspect. There is a verse I want to quote. It's from Bhagavad Gita 2:70. Apuryamana machalam pratishtam samudram apa pravishanti yadvat tadvat kama ya pravishanti sarve sashanti mapnoti na kama kami. Very important verse. A person who is not disturbed by the incessant flow of desires that enter like rivers into the ocean, which is ever being filled, but is always still, can alone achieve peace, and not the man who strives to satisfy such desires. So this is, again, you can study this verse at your own leisure. It's a very important verse. Again, just to remind ourselves, this is an overview of what we do here as devotees, how we surrender, what is our practical approach to surrender. It's not details, it's not psychology, all right? You can always ask later about these details, but just to be brief about it. We control our senses through three aspects. One is the body, one is the speech, the talk, and one is the mind. So through these three aspects, we control our senses. So psychologically, we would say sense control isn't it to do with senses like touch and smell and feel, etc. Yes, it is, but it's in our environment, in our instance, as Parikshit Maharaj demonstrated, it is very important to not just, control the senses, but also control the tongue in terms of what you say, how you talk, talking, and also the mind, which is like the fountainhead, which is like the fountainhead of the senses. That's where all the senses are actually going into. So everything we experience in this existence is culminating in the mind. That's where everything is impressed. There is a nice book, I again suggest you can study it. It's called Vedic Psychology by Suhatra Maharaj. Have anyone read that book? Very, very nicely explaining, he's very nicely explaining the mind, which is basically the main principle behind psychology, the origin of mind through creation, how it manifests, etc., what it does. It's very nice. So, body would mean we control our senses in terms of what we eat, yes? We only eat prasadam. That refers also not just in the temple, but outside. If you live home, or if you go to a Sankirtan, you're not just going to the shop and buy whatever and start eating it, because now you are out. So whatever we consume, we offer it to Krishna. We even, not nowadays, but back when we were starting Sankirtan and we were going house to house in villages, the villages, they used to have these public wells. They had this well, and then you just press the button and the water was coming out. And what we did, we pressed, and we drink Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So we offered everything. That was nice. So yeah, so what we eat, that immediately actually touches so many senses, you know, eating, to smell, taste, touch, seeing it, hearing the Prabhu next to me doing the so many things. What have we here? Controlling senses can, a cold shower can help that a lot. Who does cold shower? 2, 3 devotees, 4, 5, 7 Matajis. Oh, no, I'm just joking. Cold shower is also very good for sense control. It is said that a warm shower cleans the body and a cold shower cleans the mind. So that's again something you can practice. Some devotees do take a bath normally, warm shower, and then just as a last stint, they turn on the hot water and they just that's it. So it gives a little bit of a, you know, strength there. Simple dressing is also part of our control of the senses. Simple dressing is very important. Not for the ladies. Ladies should be always beautiful, always dress nicely, because they want to please Gornitai. Look how beautiful Gornitai is today. You see? So, if we consider brahmacharis, it's really just dhoti kurta chadar bas. That's it. Nothing special, nothing fancy, nothing extravagant, nothing like, you know, a show off. But simple. So that means you control your senses. And the ladies, they just dress nicely, nice colorful saris, ideally not black saris, nothing too dark, but colorful, bright. So that's, for them, that's their control of the senses. And we can also control senses by conducting menial service. It goes back to the previous option. So, yeah. And then we have speech, which is very straightforward in our instance. We start with Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. But in terms of controlling the senses, we would say, you know, positive and negative. Positive is always preach, always chant, always talk Krishna consciousness, Krishna Katha, but negative is no prajalpa. Very simple. No prajalpa. No prajalpa means anything which is not related to Krishna. And one thing I would just give you as a very warm advice, also controlling the senses, is never criticize. So that's also part of our speech. Never criticize. So if you start seeing that your tongue is utilized in criticizing the Vaishnavas, then you cut off your tongue. You will be better off. So you don't do that. You never criticize. So if you have trouble with that in your mind, then always go back to this. Okay, am I controlling my senses? Am I controlling my tongue? How is it controlled? One way to always preach, always talk Krishna Katha, never do talk non-Krishna Katha, prajalpa, and never criticize. So you can always work on that. But as I said, these are principles which we now going through, and then we can go into details in a personal set environment. Mind has 3 functions. Who knows the functions of the mind? Microphone, Laventa.
Thinking, willing, and feeling.
Very good, thank you very much. So this in itself, so the way it works is that it's a big topic. So whatever we experience in this world, we experience through senses. That's how it's designed. Without senses, we can't experience the world. Let's say we step into a dark room, pitch dark room, which is completely devoid of anything. We have nothing to go by. We don't smell anything, we don't see anything, we don't hear anything, we can't touch anything. So there is no information. As soon as we turn on the light, we start seeing things. The Vedic psychology actually states, actually it's in the Bhagavatam, in the 11th canto, it is nicely explained that whatever we experience through senses is not reality, it is illusion. As a matter of fact, it's not illusion, it is Krishna himself manifesting for our benefit. So the principle is that controlling the mind goes through study the Shastra, because that will then make us understand what is going on. So I look at that glass and I see it with my sense of vision, but that glass is not here, it doesn't exist. It doesn't exist for him. You see? It doesn't exist for him. That glass doesn't exist for him. It only exists for me. So how is that possible? Well, you can see the glass is here, but it's not. It exists for me because by my karma, Krishna represents himself in this energy, because I, by my karma, am allowed to perceive it. So what happens is that this form, as it is here, is manifested in my mind. Now that's very complex, so let's not go down there, but that's how things work. So controlling mind means understanding this principle. So whatever I see is actually Krishna mercifully manifesting himself through that energy of his in my mind. So it only exists in my mind. Once I understand this, then how I interact with this world will completely change. It will be more closer to how Krishna would want us to interact with this world. And then just briefly one more, I think this second example would be more easier than this glass here. Let's say there is a street and there are two sides of the street and there are shops here and shops there. We understand that. On the left side walks a father and a son. Got it? On the right side is a candy shop. And in front of the candy shop is a blonde woman, attractive blonde woman. So the father and the son goes, and the blonde woman and the candy shop is there. What does the child see? The candy shop. What does the father see? The blonde woman. So one exists in one's mind, the other exists in the other mind. So that's how we should understand this. It's a complex topic, as I said, and we can talk about it at one point. I would be very happy. Oh, I made this a comment here, it's important. Sense control doesn't mean denying the senses, but utilizing them in Krishna consciousness. So that's something we can again talk about a lot. Run over time so much. Was this helpful?
Yes.
Good news, there is more. So at one point we can carry on talking about our own practical aspects of surrender. Now that we are on the bank of the Ganges, we are in the holy place of Temple of Budapest, next to Gornitai, surrounded by saint people. So all this is meant to help you improve your path on the surrender. Okay, thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Nitai Go Premanande. Jai.